I'm trying to show you just how awful this got, how commanding these rages got. I was raging inside. There was just incredible energies.
Do you have news from Henry?
Initially lovely, she said. But that love turned into hate. Kill that bitch, I have to catch up with her. And I cut his dick off and shove it in his mouth. And then take a baseball bat and run it straight through from his mouth to his ass. Just deep inside the jaw. I had to take like a spark, run it all the way down. And let it come out his ass. And then put him on a barbecue pit. And all them police out there on the street. And don't even tell it's a dead person, after they eat it and then say, well, you just ate a human body, you see. That's what I would do. Sharon Tate LaBianca's murder, okay, was a witch's hitting. Sharon Tate wanted out, but the thing is, the Illuminati...
What do you mean she wanted out? She was a witch?
Yes, she was tired of it. She wanted to get out, but
Sharon
the thing
Tate
is...
was a witch, okay.
Oh, but the thing is...
You base those allegations on what?
On when I was in, myself. I'm not the only one who knows this information. Anybody who was in witchcraft during that time can tell you the same thing. What happened
That Sharon Tate was a practicing witch?
Yes.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, the Illuminati...
I have no information to refute it, so I'm only going on what you're saying.
The Illuminati sent Charles Manson in to kill her. If you remember, she was killed. One leg was strung up from the rafter, her hands behind her, her throat sliced open. There was a tarot, 78 cards and a tarot deck. You look at the 12th major arcana one, it looks like the Hanged Man. That's exactly how Sharon Tate LaBianca was left. Charles Manson did not go into prison. He volunteered to go in.
So you're saying that Charles Manson came from this group, the Illuminati?
He's one of the most powerful wizards alive today.
Okay.
Oh.
And
you've got to have a strong system
But in order for it to be a strong system, the system's got to be right, man. You can't fake it. You can't jump up and knock a bunch of people down and say, see how strong we are? That ain't gonna, that's not going to do it. You got to be right. You got to finesse it. You got to have a one world government. You got to have a one world court. There can be no place in the world that you can get away.
In the meantime, though, since that is probably a long way away,
well, not as far as you might think.
Well, it's probably not going to happen next week anyway.
In 1993, announced that the entire spree was engineered by a satanic cult, and others had participated in the plot.
Of course, everyone had played a role as far as the chanting and the praying. Everyone had a role in that, and understanding that, this was going to be another sacrifice to our gods. Bunch of scumbags that they were, our gods, Lucifer and his crew, and we said, yeah, this is going to be another one for you, And I said,
we've got to get a one world government.
I don't want to talk about all this.
Yeah, we've got to have it.
Chop up some more. I'm going to kill you as many as I can. I'm going to pile you up to the sky. I figured about 50 million. If I could get about 50 million of you, I might be able to save my trees and my air and my water and my wildlife.
You want to kill 50 million people?
Well, that's just a drop in the bucket to what's really coming. Yeah, that's just a drop in the bucket to what's really.
Satan's world, hoping to stop Ramirez and others like him. His mission earned him the nickname Satan Sleuth. He spends his time tracking Satan lovers, those who have sold their souls to the devil. Inside Reports' Dan Housley takes us into the demonic world of the Night Stalker and the man who followed Ramirez into its living hell.
The Night Stalker. To many, he is the devil on earth. For 4 years, Richard Ramirez, a Satan worshiper, held Southern California in a grip of terror. He looked evil. He did evil things. Ramirez shot or slashed or raped his randomly picked victims, then carried out strange rituals of blood, sex, and sacrifice. Ramirez would leave satanic symbols at the scenes of his ghastly crimes. Finally, more than 40 crimes, including 13 murders later, the Night Stalker was caught. Unrepentant, he flashed the Satanist sign of the pentagram at one of his court hearings. Just last month, Richard Ramirez was convicted. The jury recommended he die in California's gas chamber. But this case is more than just another chapter in California's horror stories. Richard Ramirez woke up the world of law enforcement. Woke them up to what they're now calling the crime of the future, satanic crime.
Back in 1985, good old Richard Ramirez was the one who seemed to fuel that interest.
Police Sergeant Randy Eamon of the Baldwin Hills, California Police Department teaches fellow officers about Satanism and the wicked acts of some of its followers.
He had a decomposing goose's wing on here with candle wax all over it, some of the other things on the table over there. And he was like this, dripping blood off his nose all over this.
Eamon says more and more police are investigating crimes that are done in the name of Satan. Crimes that range from graffiti, vandalism, and animal mutilation to pornography, child abuse, cannibalism, and murder.
There is no doubt in my mind that there are adults in the United States of America and abroad, not just the United States, abroad, who are participating in blood rituals, blood drinking, mixing of urine with blood, eating of feces, eating of animal parts, who are taking it one step further and committing human sacrifices. It was over that way.
It was just about sunset on the high desert of Southern California when Sergeant Eamon took our inside report crew to the actual location of an occult ritual he recently investigated, where this pile of bones was found.
We found inside a circle charred animal hairs from animals, bones, and what's even more interesting is a series of tennis shoes, all from the left shoe of appeared to be young teenagers, different brands, different colors, different sizes, and what's even more interesting is no shoelaces on any of the shoes. Only left shoes. It appeared to us that they were probably involved in some type of ritual or initiation, and the individuals removed the tennis shoe to show allegiance to their cult leader or Satan.
Eamon says satanic crime is one of the hardest types of crime to investigate. Many of the cops at his seminar say they often feel their hands are tied. They know a crime has been committed, but most of the time, no body is found.
They did sacrifice little babies. Often what they would do is they would have the people within the cult have the children. And then once the baby was born, they would sacrifice the baby there. That way they didn't have any records or anything of the baby being born because they would do it all within the cult.
In order to communicate with Satan through his, what he calls, gatekeeper, they have to engage in a ritualistic Sabbath somewhere up in the valley. And they partake with 13 people.
As part of his lecture, Eamon uses a video that can be rented at most home video stores. The film dramatizes a satanic blood ritual.
By the way, if you want to rent this, it's a couple of bucks at any local video store. The concern that I think all of us have is, let's say that it has been staged. There's nothing wrong with that. What about the kid that sees this? Well, I'm going to go do the same thing.
Eamon says children are often the victims of Satanists. This 17-year-old boy he interviewed claims to have been present at a human sacrifice when he was only 6 years old. We have hidden his face because the young man now fears retaliation.
And he turned around the knife around and he stabbed her right in the middle of her chest.
Eamon says he will continue to be a Satan sleuth. This despite the fact that since he began his investigations and lectures on devil-related crimes, strange, unexplained things have happened to him and to his children.
My oldest son, I would have to say, was attacked, for lack of better words. He was in his bed, and he told me a year later he felt like something was inside him tearing him up. And he literally had his hands in front of him reaching toward the ceiling and had silver-dollared eyes saying, "Get away, get away." 5 minutes later, my younger son was in the lower bunk bed, and I'm downstairs, and I hear this quiet little voice call for Pop. So I go upstairs and say, "Well, what's wrong, Chris?" And he's looking at me, he's looking through me, and he said, "Daddy, I can't see." I mean, just the lights on, nobody's home. And he was blind for about 5 minutes. I know law enforcement, cops hear this and think I'm nuts. But I found a pentagram about this big in my carpet, almost like someone had etched their finger. I stepped on it, and it wouldn't go away. So these are just some of the things that do go with the territory, but you don't need to fear it either. The problem is I suggest to law enforcement, don't bring any of this material in your home. Just keep it out of the home, and you won't bring this stuff in with you.
Arrested today after being held by an angry crowd. Police believe Ramirez is the walk-in killer, or so-called night stalker, who has terrorized California, committing at least 16 murders there recently. Noah Nelson reports from Los Angeles.
How long ago? Let's get all these. What's your name?
You kill a hog, you still kill him. So it don't make a difference what you kill, really. And then if you miss a cutting out somebody, it's just like butchering a hog to sell a cow. Ain't no difference. It's just no different, I reckon. Put your little bit of barbecue sauce on it. You go to town line and get it roasted. Not unless you want it raw.
That was 1 week before I murdered my mother. I said, she's got to die, and I've got to die, or girls like that are going to die. And that's when I decided I'm going to murder my mother. I knew a week before she died I was going to kill her. And she went out to a party, she got soused, she came home, went to sleep. I was woken up by that, came out, I walked up to her bed, she's laying there reading a paperback. As many thousands of nights before. And she said, "Oh, I suppose you're going to want to sit up all night and talk now." Shit. I looked at her, I said, "No." I said, "Good night." And I knew I was going to kill her. You know? And I'm so cold, it's so hard. And that's the first time in 10 years I've looked at it that way. I mean, that intensely, that honestly. It hurts. Because I'm not a lizard, I'm not...